So good morning, everyone. Welcome to World Gratitude Day. And this morning I had said, and welcome to the autumnal equinox, and then I noticed it's actually tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Hey, celebrate every day, you know? That's the great thing is you can just keep celebrating. So today is World Gratitude Day. It's been set aside for people to appreciate what they have in their lives, to appreciate the people and the things that they have and the opportunities that they have, and just to really call more attention to what gratitude can do for you. So I have a couple of quick comments to make before we start introducing ourselves. So everyone is coming in muted at the moment. And please, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat or hold it until later because we'll be taking questions at the end of the call. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining 3 Gratitude Goddesses this morning, and hopefully Geetha will be joining us too, since she's not here yet. But most of you may or may not know me. I'm Dawn Meyer. I'm a former rocket scientist, meaning
Yay!
yes, I did work on the space shuttle. Vismaya loves me to say that, so I wanted to start off with that. And now I am an energy healer and an empowerment and possibilities coach. And I help people get unstuck and get moving forward in their lives by helping them to discover the choices and possibilities that they may not know that they had, so that they can really discover their own brilliance and launch into that life that they would like to be living. So, Vismaya, I would like you to introduce yourself, please.
I would love to. So I just wanted to also say today is World Peace Day. And I think that that is such a perfect combination, world peace. And Geetha will be on in a minute, just so you know. World Peace and World Gratitude Day. She's having a problem connecting, but she'll get there.
Okay.
So, and it's really interesting because I think I know the two of them go hand in hand, especially the more we practice gratitude, the more inner peace we have, the more we can share with the world. So I think that was a perfect connection. A little bit, all right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, I was just going to say yes. And the other thing is that it allows us to connect with each other too. Because as we're having gratitude for the things in our lives, it's also for the people in our lives. And that really helps us to have that connection of oneness with those people and with the things that we're grateful for. So yeah, that really adds to world peace, because when you've got that oneness connection going on, you do feel more at peace and you can create more peace in your life and other people's lives.
Absolutely. So I am Vismaya Rubin. I was a teacher in Miami-Dade County for 20 years. This is my second year not teaching and really working full-time on the gratitude movement I started when I was teaching high school students. And, my gift is really being able to see and to share with people how they're able to see what works in their life, especially during difficult situations. I think it's easy when life is working, that it's easier to figure out what you're grateful for and to spot those things. But when life is difficult, people tend to, fall into the dark tunnel and miss the things that they could be seeing. So that's really my gift, is being able to guide people to see those gifts that they miss. And I create shirts, and I have a gratitude journal just like you have. I also have affirmation bracelets. I have all sorts of tools that help people get to that state.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're
And there's
welcome.
Geetha. She joined us.
Hey. Hi, Geetha.
Welcome.
Hey, Don. Hey,
We were just
Adam.
introducing ourselves to everyone and
That's fine.
telling them that right now everybody's muted and that we're doing questions at the end. So Geetha, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Surely. I'm Geetha Krishnan. I'm a corporate trainer, a gratitude leadership coach, a certified international speaker, and international best-selling author with co-authored 2 books. I've been training for the last 14 years, and I've trained more than 20,000 people in Fortune 500 companies. And my flagship program is Gratitude Leadership, and that's something that's I'm very passionate about. I have a radio show come Facebook Live event every Thursday, 9 a.m. EST, called Gratitude Radio. That's Facebook Live, and Dynamic Growth with Gratitude Radio Show. which I've been doing for the last 2.5 years almost now, and with amazing guest speakers. And it's such a blessing that I started that with gratitude to my husband on my wedding anniversary day. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
so powerful. So that's something that I wanted to really share today. And I conduct workshops in organizations, helping and supporting teams to understand themselves better, to support themselves better, their teams better, appreciate each other as well as our own selves in a deeper perspective. And that really makes and that makes them want to give more to the organization, be part of the organization as a family member, as opposed to being just an employee. So that's something that I focus on and I drive towards. And I also conduct walks, gratitude leadership walks. It's called On the Move, as a training program with people all around. So basically, I teach people to thank and laugh all the way to the bank.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Well, today, like I said, we're all about gratitude. And you may be wondering, well, what is gratitude? I know how to say thank you. My parents made me do it when I was a little kid. What's the big deal? And well, yes, the definition of gratitude is technically that it means thankfulness and appreciation. And it comes from a Latin word, grata or gratus, which means grace or graciousness or thankful and pleasing. And for those of us who deal with gratitude more deeply, it's really much more than that. It's not just I feel happy, oh, thank you very much. It's actually a sense of peace and expansion and greater possibilities. And it has such a powerful vibration that it draws more of what you are thankful for to it and to you. So it's more of a way of life than it is just simply a practice or something that you do because you think you've got to and you get it over with in the morning because you write down your gratitudes. And I've talked to people that thought, yeah, I want to write in my gratitude journal and then I'm done. It's like, no, it's so much more than that. So Vismaya and Geetha, can you expand on that for us? I know that you both use gratitude so much more deeply than simply that.
So I agree with you that it is about, acknowledgement of the goodness in one's life and then recognizing it. It's about, acknowledging that good things happen and then being able to see those things. And I read Dr. Robert Emmons is one of the greatest researchers of gratitude and the benefits of gratitude. And really, to put it very simply, it's like saying yes to life, right? It's about saying yes to our experiences, saying yes to the things that work, saying yes to the things that don't work, and finding the deliciousness in the middle of it. And I agree with you, what you focus on expands. I think that's a really powerful statement that you made. You didn't say it that way, but that's the way I say it. And that's so really what you focus on expands. And when you're focusing on gratitude and when you're focusing on the things that work, you start to see more things that work.
Yeah. And how about you, Geetha?
Absolutely, I agree 100% with Vismaya and on yourself too. Why when I look at gratitude, it's so deep down, so powerful. It's like the flowing river, the flowing water. Every time you just dip your foot into that flowing water, feel the coolness. And that's what I feel about gratitude, because every time you just dip into the river of gratitude, you come back with so much energy, the power. It's so powerful that it just rejuvenates you. It pulls in all that, just the stress that you have. It just pulls in all those things together and just sends it back to that water. And somehow it just like that coolness in that water pulls that stretch of you, the same way gratitude can do that to us internally when we internalize ourselves. So that's something I feel very much attuned to gratitude, and been in the process of gratitude since childhood, and unknowingly or unknowingly. It's basically just the way uh, we were brought up, or the value systems that were ingrained in us, always being humble and being thankful. That's what my grandma taught us. And how you I used to watch her, and every time with a smile on her face, you know it's not that you had a lot of stuff available for you, but at the same time, even with when she used to give away a little bit of food, she had that in her heart. She had that in her face, the the essence, the glow, and somehow that resonated with me. Beautiful about
What happened?
I think Geeta's getting a phone call. There she is. Woke everybody up, hey! So yes, it is so much more. I know that we had talked about how it's when the three of us were getting together to put this on, we had come up with some things that we were talking about with each other, and how important gratitude had been for us in our lives. And one of the things with me is that the appreciation of what I have and can be and can do has always been very important for me, because there was a time in my life when I was very, very down. I was very negative. Everything that I focused on was negative. I had like a little dark cloud over my head. And once I realized that that was not who and what I wanted to be anymore, and it wasn't where I wanted to live, in that darkness, in that space of hopelessness, it really shifted things. I started to do the practices to have gratitude for what I had and who I had and everything that had brought me to where I am now. And just being able to do that shift in the way I was being and showing up really changed everything in my life. It changed my relationships. It changed how I was showing up at work. It changed the people that were showing up in my life, so that the ones that actually were more of a contribution and were more supportive, they started showing up, rather than the people who were there to say, oh, I told you so, you can't do that. Those people kind of fell by the wayside. So the gratitude practices that I started bringing in more of the life that I really wanted to be living. And like you said, it's dipping into that pool of gratitude and allowing the things that really aren't serving us to wash away, so that then you can have more of what you would like your life to be, and realize that that is a possibility. So many people don't think they have that as a possibility anymore. And just know that that's really out there for you, that you can actually do it. How about you, Vismaya or Geetha?
I thought of a scenario last weekend. I was setting up shop outside to be a vendor for my shirts, and it felt like it was 900 degrees outside. I was sweating from head to toe. I mean, I felt like I smelled disgusting. My turquoise shirt was drenched in sweat. And I could hear the voice in my head, like, complaining nonstop. Oh my God, you're working so hard and there's not a lot of people here. What are you doing? Da, da, da. And really I started to laugh. And it was almost like this maniacal laugh, because I finally said to myself, just shut up. Like, really, shut up. I said, you're not working that hard. You're doing the things that you love to do. You're having fun. You get to call people and talk to them about gratitude. You get to talk to people to see how you can, assist them in growing their business. You sell really cool stuff that people love to wear. And when they see you, they smile at you and they hug you and they high five you. And it really shifted something for me. The sales were not tremendous, that there were not a lot of people at this event, but the energy and the experience that I had for the rest of the day was so much more desirable and so much more pleasurable. And it's really stuck with me this past week. It's like, you really have designed a life that you wanted. And basically, again, I get to talk to people about gratitude. I get to talk to people about, finding the joy in their life and how to tap into that and how to experience it regardless of what's going on. So, and I don't even remember your initial question, but that just, that struck me because I woke up this morning and I'm like, wow, you're going to be on a call with 2 other women today at 12 o'clock on World Gratitude Day, discussing how delicious your life is and how you get to create whatever you want.
Yeah, and the
How
cool thing
perfect.
is that what you did, which was find something to be grateful for in the moment, that's one of the things that I teach people to do is to say, you know, if you can shift what's going on in the moment by focusing on gratitude, whether it's for what's going on at the moment, because there's generally something in there that you can be grateful for, even if it's just to be grateful for the lesson that you're going to get from it, if it's perhaps not turning out exactly the way you'd like it to. But bringing that energy of gratitude in at the moment can really change your whole day. Like you said, it changed how you were showing up at the event. It changed your focus during the event, because we've all been at these events that maybe there's not very many people there, or the people there really aren't interested in tables. They just are coming through there while they're getting something to drink and you're just on the way. So changing how you're showing up helps them to change how they're showing up too, because like we said, it's kind of infectious. So if you can infect people with gratitude, how cool is that?
Yeah, I share that with people also. It's about reframing the way they're seeing the situation. And I know my last few years at work when I was teaching, they weren't difficult in the sense that the kids were always, the highlight of the day. But there were some challenging situations, and I really found myself complaining a lot and bitching about certain people. And again, the conversation of reframe that situation. What good is coming out of it? Well, it gives me the opportunity to work on my gratitude practice. It gives me the opportunity to see, what's going on in my life. So I think that that's a really powerful thing that you said. Get people to reframe, to see what's working versus what isn't. And again, that takes practice, because when you're stuck and you're in the middle of it, you've got to find a way to pull yourself a little bit, or have somebody pull you by the bootstraps and say, okay, stop, pause, and let's look at this a different way, and give me one thing that works. And it's not easy when you're in the middle of it.
No, because like you said, as the space program was winding down and we knew that most of us were going to get laid off, it was really a challenge to have that gratitude, to stay above the upset that a lot of people had every day. So it was finding those things to be grateful for in the moment that I kept doing to bring myself up so that I could help other people to stay up too. Because we still had a job to do. We still had to complete what we were doing and be able to see what was going to be beyond that. See the
Right.
opportunities and the possibilities that were going to be created from that were different than what we had now, but realizing that we had a chance to make something different in our lives now. And that's what I kept telling people. You get a chance to change who you are now, what you're showing up as, and what you're being. So yeah, that's very cool, reframing.
And I think that's important what you said. And just to add to that, it's, when we talk about gratitude as a practice or as a way of life, that doesn't mean that life is always perfect. And that doesn't mean that life is always, flowing so wonderfully and we're smiling and joyful all the time, or that we don't ever bitch and complain. I'll speak for myself. I could get an award for bitching and complaining. But, well, seriously, but it's about finding that balance, or finding that space, or that voice that says, okay, stop. And I think, when I talk about, when I share with people that I have a gratitude practice or my whole business is about gratitude, sometimes they're pushed away, or they're turned off a bit. Well, you don't understand, I have problems. So do we all. Did we lose Geetha?
Nope, she's back.
I'm here.
How about you, Geetha?
I'm good. Yes. Yes. You know what? Somebody once told me that when Geetha's online, there's always technology. So it's basically the technology cannot handle my powerful energy.
I'll buy that one. I love that one.
So yes, I'm absolutely with you in every part, because I was there, I was listening, and I was trying to get it into my system what you were sharing. One thing that is very strong, which for me, and I want to share with all of you, is a little exercise. If we all can do, if we are not driving, we are just seated, just holding our nose tight. If you all can hold your nose tight, what is that one thing that you feel right now? Oh my God, let me get that breath, right?
Yeah.
At that instant, what is it that you feel? You just feel that I am so grateful for this breath of fresh air that I just got. You know? So we tend to give importance to all the different problems in our lives, so much more that they actually deserve. We tend to give the highest placement in our structure to all those difficulties, all those financial problems or emotional problems, or the other everything that's around us, so much importance that we tend to forget, or rather less importance to all those things that's something that we already have, and that's something so nourishing, so beautiful. We don't realize that, especially for something as simple as this breath. When we sneeze, people tell us, bless you. Why do they say that? Because at that instant, we are actually skipping a breath, and they are blessing you to, actually blessing you to get that breath of air inside your lungs, to actually giving you life. Because you never know, in that breath, you could lose your life. You could be dead, for all you know. The moment we get up in the morning, if we can be more thankful and grateful that we got up. The moment we see next to us, our family is there next to us. The moment we realize that our family, wherever at distant places they are there right in front of us. We can see them on Skype. I can see you all on the Zoom scene right now. That is so powerful. That is being grateful at that moment, because there are thousands and millions of people who don't get up in the morning.
Yeah.
They don't get up in the morning. There are at least 10% of the population does not get up in the morning. We are in the 90% of the population who are actually awake today in the morning on Gratitude Day and are interacting with each other, cheerful and blessed, just to spend this 1 hour of immense gratitude with each other. And that is a tremendous blessing. And I truly want each one of you to actually feel that, to go deeper inside yourself and be grateful for all those things that you have right now with you. Just imagine for a second, what is there with you right now? And internalize it, feel it. And that makes us so much more
Just to add something to that, I think, when you said we give so much importance to our problems, I was planning a talk recently, and one of the things that I came up with was CPR. So gratitude is like CPR. When you're having, a really difficult time, acknowledge it, but compartmentalize it. Like, don't allow that to take over everything. Just because one thing doesn't work doesn't mean everything doesn't work. And people tend to do that at times. Well, this isn't working, and that's not going right. No, one aspect. So the C for CPR is compartmentalize. Set it aside. It doesn't mean everything. And then the R and the P is, like, again, like you said, pause. And then the R is reflect. And again, what you said, reflect on all the other stuff that works. We don't have to constantly clump everything together. And I think, that's what we tend to do. I know I do that at times. When I say we, I always include myself, because everything that I share is because I have had to practice on myself. So gratitude is CPR.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did a talk called Who Would You Be Without Your Problems once. And it was about that's what people tend to focus so much on so that they have something to talk about. They have something to, oh, I have more problems than you do. Yay.
Yay.
And it's like it's a badge of honor that you have all of these problems because you can overcome them. So you keep creating new ones so you have more things to overcome to prove that you can overcome them. And wouldn't you
That's
really rather
craziness.
shift that so that it's not that you're overcoming the problems, it's that you're creating a new lifestyle for yourself. You're creating the life you'd like to have rather than creating problems to overcome just to prove you can overcome them. How crazy is that? When you actually stop to think about it, when you start, because what I do is when I start talking about something that, is a problem in my life,
Mm.
I'll think, what am I doing? Is this really such an obstacle to overcome, or is it simply a choice that I've made that isn't working out, and now I can choose something different? We get so attached to these things, we think we have to make them work, and we don't. We can let go of them and choose something different. I always tell people, you're not really stuck with, they say you make your bed and now you've got to lie in it. No, you can check out and get a different room.
Right.
You don't have to stay there, and you don't have to keep making new problems. So what if you could just have the gratitude practice in the morning? Like you said, people get up in the morning, and not everybody can get out of bed in the morning. Before you get out of bed, spend a couple of minutes reviewing what you would like to have for the day, the things that you already have in your life, the things that you're grateful for, and it really changes the tone of your day to start out being happy and grateful and having that energy than to be grumpy. Like my husband tends to get up grumpy. And I'll come and say, "Hi, honey," and he'll say, "Oh, you are so cheerful this morning." And he'll say, and I'll say, "Well, isn't that a better thing than to be grouchy and not even have your eyes completely open yet, but to be happy and come downstairs and play with the cats?" And because it really changes how your day goes. Because I've done it both ways and I know which one I prefer now. And that's the one that I choose now, is to be much more grateful and happy in the morning than to be grouchy and dread going out it for the day.
There's a
And that is,
blessing. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, that makes so much of a difference, isn't it, Don? Because earlier on, uh, we tend to, especially when I'm interacting with my clients or in the corporates and the teams, they said, okay, we are grateful. Okay, what about that? So when when you actually teach them how to go about it and what is gratitude and why it's important, people tend to think that, okay, we need to be grateful during Thanksgiving or Christmas or any particular occasion. Go and do some volunteering work. We donate some food stuff, and that's it. That's how gratitude or anything that is more compassionate is considered. But then when we start practicing being in the continuous flow of gratitude, that's what I say is every day in and day out, the more we are grateful to identifying, you tend to spot the things that you're more grateful. It's kind of a habit that we build, more like Zig Ziglar once said that, somebody told him, oh, motivation is really tough. We need to keep motivating ourselves every day. So he said, so is bathing, isn't it? You need to keep bathing every day. So it's gratitude, and being in gratitude is just the same. We need to build it as a habit on a day-to-day basis. Today we are grateful for a cup of tea. Tomorrow we are grateful for a cup of tea and a cup of water. Day after tomorrow we are more grateful for 2 glasses of water, because in Africa there are people who don't get that 1 glass of water. So you're actually enjoying a glass more. When you open the tap to brush your teeth, you're brushing your teeth, but the water is flowing. You don't realize that there are people out there who wait for that tank of water
Mm.
to come just get their food on the table, to cook, to clean. There are bore wells, which
Oops.
is something that we need to understand uh, all the time. That what is it that we need to focus on? How can we focus more on the goodness when there is so much of negativity around us? That's what being in the continuous flow of gratitude tells us. Gratitude leadership is what that's what I talk about, is how we can be better gratitude leaders. Who are we? Each one of us can be that. It's not just uh, any one person's predominance, but all of us can lead ourselves to be more grateful and be more attuned to being in the essence of gratitude.
Exactly.
So I was gonna share that, in Judaism there's a prayer that you wake up to. It's a blessing, and it's the Modani, and it's saying, thank you God for returning my soul to my body and for giving me a new day. But I have to tell you, I'm like Don's husband. I don't wake up and go, I'm so happy to be alive. That doesn't, the alarm clock goes off and I'm like, and I hit the Zoom. So that doesn't resonate necessarily, getting up and going, yay. But I do understand what you're saying, and about constantly being on the look. Again, what you focus on expands. And there was a quote that I read, and I'm going to read it to you now. It says, gratitude is an effortful state to create and maintain. It is not for the intellectually lethargic. And when I read that, I felt like I had hit a pot of gold, because it's not always easy to be grateful. It is a habit. It is something you have to create. It is something you have to work on. Because like you said, Don, we can sit and focus on all the things that don't work and, count, my problem's bigger than yours. Yay, my headache's bigger than yours. My disaster's bigger than yours. But when we flip that around and we start to look for all of those good things, it does take time sometimes. And I think that throughout the day, when you're starting this practice, it's really important to set those alarms to go off in the middle of the day every couple hours, and to stop and to pause and to reflect on what it is you're grateful for, and what it is that worked. Did anything make you smile today? Did anything, did you not eat the chocolate cake when you said you were on a diet? Did you walk the extra few steps instead of taking the car? What worked for you? And the more that we start to focus on that and train ourselves to look, the more we start to see. And if you don't see something in that first time period that you're looking for, it doesn't matter. You've got the alarm to go off in a few more hours, and to constantly train yourself, because, Geetha, you said it was a habit, and I agree with you. We need to continuously create that habit, and start your alarms. Let them go off every couple hours. Stop, pause, and reflect.
Exactly. I would love to use, in fact, I'm working on that, is a gratitude app where people can be grateful on just like a water app. So you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. So I'm working on an app which will help you to be more grateful, writing down 10 thoughts a day. So automatically it buzzes, and then you are grateful and just pen your thought on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then gives you 10 thoughts a day, because it's difficult. We tell people that be grateful. Okay. So the moment you start thinking about what can I be grateful for, but then it's actually, I have so many problems. How can I be grateful for? What is it that I'll be grateful for? So it's basically, as we were discussing, that building a habit, but how do we build that habit? So I started off writing gratitude, and when you write it, when you ink it, it's a lot more helpful, because you're actually penning it down, right? It's something that you tell the universe, and you are bound to receive it. So the same way, you're writing it down. So I have a tool called PAT. It's Loving PAT, and I would encourage all of you. It's kind of a challenge for 30 days, because habit builds in at least 21 days. We're all aware. So it's something that will help us to build a habit. And Loving PAT challenge is PAT stands for P. P is grateful for a person. A is grateful for an activity, and T is grateful for a thing, or anything. So when we start off, the first thing in the morning, either to pen down or preferably pen it down in a small journal, small book, and doing it every day. It's grateful for a person and write an action list along with that. You could be grateful. I could be grateful for Vismaya every day. I could be grateful for Dawn every day, or I could be grateful for my husband every day. But there could be different reasons for being grateful. So today I'm grateful for him for making me a cup of tea. Tomorrow I would be grateful for him for bringing me a bunch of roses. So I'm giving him ideas right now.
I'm gonna
Need
add
those
something to your
prompts.
challenge. I'm gonna add something to your challenge. I'm gonna
Yeah,
add the thing that if people are taking on that 30-day challenge, that really to find something unique for that day. And that's kind of what you're hitting on right now. So yes, you could be grateful for your husband for 30 days, but it cannot be for the same reason for those 30 days. But I also challenge people to look for different things to be grateful for. So if you're looking for people, look for 30 different people.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly. So that we adding on to what Vismaya said, so you can look for that one particular thing. So identifying an activity, first a person whom you're grateful for. It could be your pet, it could be your mom, and actually physically calling them and letting them know,
mm,
the action step that you take. Because what I personally see and believe is the more you share gratitude, you receive more. you know you are collecting more. It's like when you're giving abundance, you're receiving the sweetness of being grateful for that same abundance. That's what Rumi said. So it's you're actually receiving that abundance even more, and you're sharing it. So we are coming from a place of sharing abundance to each other. And imagine the amount of gratitude that you collect in your jars. So sharing it, letting the person know that you're grateful for the person. And the next is any activity that you would want to do it on a day-to-day basis. So probably you're going for a walk with your pet. You went for a jolly cup of tea with your friend. Everything is something that you would want to incorporate. So you can share writing down what activity that you did.
you ate
And
the apple, not the chocolate cake.
exactly, exactly.
You see where I'm going.
I see where
I can
that's
see
going.
that.
It keeps coming up. I don't know what it is. It's a pattern. I don't know.
Uh, I can see
That's one of the challenges Vismaya is taking on this month.
that. And tea is for anything. So a particular thing, like she just mentioned, an apple. So I pick that up, and eating an apple a day keeps the doctor away. If the doctor is handsome, keep the apple away.
There you
Okay,
go.
so
Exactly.
and then you can also be grateful for anything that comes to your mind at that time. So that gives you the openness to be grateful for everything around you, and writing it down every day on a day-to-day basis. So as a tool, if you can take this up as a challenge for 30 days, you can reach out to me and just say done when you're done with it. And I encourage all my corporate participants to do that, my clients to do that. Lindsay is here. I'm sure she would love to share about it. She's experienced it with me before. So every one of us, if we can incorporate and start with simple things, because I started with 1, 2, 3, uh, and so forth, 10, 15, 50. Now I write up to 101 gratitudes every day.
Oh, wow.
So
See,
it's exactly, it's the habit that you build. It's
yeah.
the thought process, because the moment you see, you get attuned to it. Well, first, initially, you feel that, oh my God, I don't have so many things to be grateful for. But right now, I'm so grateful for this phone. My laptop stopped working, so I had the phone to connect on Zoom today. I have my cup of water. I have my the light is on, the electricity is on, so that we are connected to each other. So there are so many things that we could be grateful for, which doesn't come to us like this. But then when we start writing down or being in connection to our gratitudes, that will help us to be a lot more grateful for what we have, as opposed to what we keep wanting to have all the time.
Yeah, because like with my gratitude journal, I give you prompts so that you aren't necessarily putting down the same thing every day.
Hmm.
So it's like today, what 3 things made you laugh? What 3 things did you do that made your body feel good? And it's just all these different things every day, so that it's a different progression. And you can of course write down more than 3, but people don't notice sometimes the little things, like you said, a cup of water, or that the sun is coming in the window just right and it's not in my eyes, and those sort of things that you don't even necessarily think about every day, but yet they're adding to your life. I'm sitting here listening to my cat purr. That's a very calming sound for me. Other people maybe not so much, but you know it's those things that really make your life more fun and make your life more fulfilling for you. Those are the things to write down in gratitude, so that more of that shows up. Because like I said, it really attracts more of that to you. There are so many gratitude quotes about bringing more of what you like into your life. Like a grateful mind eventually attracts to itself great things.
Yes,
Plato said that. And it's true. When you're grateful, you just keep bringing that stuff in, because you're telling the universe that you're inviting more.
exactly, exactly.
So
Don, Don, I just have to share this beautiful story, if I may, because the moment you said that, it just came to my mind. There was this beautiful bird, and lost a leg, and it couldn't fly. It was in a desert, and absolutely there was nothing, no water, nothing at all. It was just a mirage. And so an angel was flying by, and he looked up, and he told God that, oh, this bird is hurt and doesn't have a foot. We should do something for him. And the God said that, oh, that's difficult because that's what he's been ordained for. But then you can give him a message. Ask him to be grateful for whatever is there around him. What is it? Ask him to be grateful on a day-to-day basis. The angel gave the bird the message and told him that be grateful for whatever that's there around you, whatever is available for you. The bird did just that. It kept telling itself um, that I'm grateful for just being alive. I'm grateful for being able to just come down from this, uh, barren tree, yet still I have a tree. I'm grateful for the water. Even though it's just a little bit, I'm able to sustain myself. I'm grateful for the thorns, which at least help me to shade myself at times under the sun. And all these little things, it just kept doing that continuously. And one day, again, the angel and God were traveling, taking a tour, and they saw that the tree was laden with uh, fruits, and there was a little pond there, and the bird was flying up and down, and the angel was surprised. What happened? You said that the bird was ordained for that, and what happened? And God said, I gave the message, you gave the message to the bird, and the bird followed that message. He was grateful, he or she was grateful all the time, continuously wanting to better herself for himself, and that really helped the bird to regain its lost glory. And actually, it also helped the tree to regain its lost glory. It's also helping the desert to, actually, there's rainfall coming down there. So it's not just helping himself or herself, but also everybody around. And this story just resonated with me when I heard that. And Don, the moment you mentioned about the quote, it just up in my mind. It's just the same for each one of us. All of us have problems. All of us have our skeletons in our closets. My teacher used to tell me that each one of us, as a psychologist, I'm a psychologist, by the way, and each one of us have our closets, and it's something that we only share with our, you know, the person whom we are interacting as a client and psychologist interaction. But when we talk about that, we tend to forget the importance of the goodness that's there in each and every one of us. all of us are beautiful, amazing, awesome people. And the more we believe that, the more we understand that, the more we are grateful for that, we tend to invite a lot more goodness in ourselves.
I love that. And
Very nice.
one of the practices, because I'm like Don's husband who doesn't wake up going, ah, one of the ways that I have put that into practice was by really declaring, Pam Grout says, wake up and go, today is going to be a magical day.
Yes.
And really declaring that today is going to be a magical day. And I haven't done that in a couple of weeks. So I think that's another practice that I'll take on for the next 30 days, because when I was taking care of my uncle, it was one of his last months of his life, and we didn't know it at the time. And I was, for the first time in my life, a caregiver for 24 hours, like nonstop, around the clock, for a month. And I would wake up because I was reading this book, and I said, today's going to be a magical day. And then the voice in my head goes, Vismaya, who are you kidding? You see, you're in this small little room, and you're not going to leave, and da-da-da-da. And when the minute I told that voice to stop and to be quiet, all of these other things started to happen. All these little, miracles, or all these beautiful things. And they may not have been miracles, but what happened was my eyes were opened and I was able to see them. So, I think like the bird, when you're able to start to pay attention to the things you're grateful for, more things start to appear. And then the second thing I wanted to add to that was going back to, when you give yourself a loving pat, Dr. Gottman, positive psychologist, he always talks about the positivity ratio. And he says that when you're in a relationship, it's really, really powerful to express your gratitude to that other person, because for every one negative comment you give to somebody, you really need 5 more positive comments need to follow in order to counteract that one negative thing. And that sounds like a crazy number, but one negative, that one thing you say can hold so much weight. So you better make sure you follow it up with 5 more positive things. Either that, or just don't say the negative thing at all.
And I'm so glad that you came back to loving pat, because that was the other concept of loving pat, is actually giving yourself the loving pat. Is to being able to get into the process of being grateful, telling yourself that you're there for yourself. It's okay if there's nobody else, but you are there for yourself. Giving ourselves the air mask, just like in the aircraft. Or Dawn is here, she's a NASA person. She knows it even better than us, that how important it is to have that for ourselves first, and then give it to anybody, a child, whomever next to us. So it's very important that we create that support for ourselves. Never feel low. There are people there. That's perfectly okay to reach out, to ask for help. It's perfectly okay to, just want the support, because there are people wanting to support you. There are.
Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I was moving recently, and I had posted on Facebook, I need help to move. And it was 10 o'clock at night, and I got a text message from one of my brothers, and he's like, I'm heartbroken. And I'm continuous reading it, and he says, I'm heartbroken because you didn't ask. He says, every time I called you, you told me, oh, the packing is going well, the packing is going fine, I'm packing. Well, I was packing, but one thing every 5 minutes would go in the box, the other stuff I was looking through. So the process for me was painful. So, he said to me, he goes, I'll be there. I'll be right there. And this is at 10 o'clock at night. It was probably 9:30 when he sent me the text. And by 10 o'clock, he and my sister-in-law had showed up. They hired a babysitter. They got in the car. They came. They spent 2 hours. And truthfully, if it wasn't for my sister-in-law, I would not have been packed. And thank God for my, Allison, and for my friend Bonnie and my friend Julie, who all came over to help as well. But if it wasn't really for my sister-in-law, I would have still been packing my room 3 weeks later. And that's such a powerful message. Ask. And for 15 minutes, I had to hear, we're family, and anything you can ask. And I know this, I know that I can ask, but for whatever reason, I didn't. And like you said, it doesn't only hurt me because I didn't ask, but it also hurt my brother because he's like, I'm here for you. So.
That is
ladies, we're getting near the end here. So it's been fabulous. We could go on, obviously,
We've been
for
talking an
forever.
hour.
Well, it's 9 minutes of one. And we wanted to give some people, a chance to ask questions if they wanted.
Absolutely.
We wanted to let you know that we do have things that we're making available to just the people who are with us on the call. Like I'm offering a breakthrough session for a half-hour breakthrough session for anybody who's on the call. And the link for that, we will put it in the email, but it's bit.ly/purpledawnappt. And then, of course, we have our products that we'll put the link to all of our stores in the email. So, Vismaya, did you have something that you wanted to offer real quick before we open up for questions? And the same with you, Geetha?
People can jump on and get my free gratitude calendar, which is at livingingratitudetoday.com. You'll see the icon for the calendar. You can go on, and every month I send them out. The key is to make sure that when you get the confirmation email, you hit confirm so that you can get your new calendar each month. And then I'll have a link for shirts and for bracelets and for everything else.
Cool.
That's one. Thank you for the opportunity, Dawn. Yes, indeed. You can just jump on my website, geethakrishnan.com. You can register for my radio show. That's there. Once you register, I shall also send you a downloadable recording of one of my radio shows. It's all about interpersonal relationships and how to build gratitude with your interpersonal skills. Mm-hmm. And also, I have gratitude walks, online virtual walks, which I reach out to me, and I'm also offering to just those who are on this show right now on the call, as well as who would be wanting to listen to the replay. They can reach out for a 15-minute breakthrough free gratitude leadership session with me, and I would be honored to support you, to put you on to the gratitude mode. And also the challenges that I shared. If you want to continue with the challenge, you can reach out to me. Just text me on my phone number or on my email, Geetha Krishnan inspires@outlook.com. Just send it done that you've done that, and that'd be it. Thank you.
Okay, so we invite anybody who's on here. Thank you, ladies, for your offers and for being with me. And so if anyone would like to ask us a question, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can type it in the chat room.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
I wanted to know, I've definitely had lots of those grumpy wake-up days, just didn't have quite the right sleep, or I'm dreading something I'm going to do that day or whatever. And I was just wondering what other sort of tips you might have that, like the magical day thing, if I'm having a grumpy moment, isn't going to work. I'm just going to sound really sarcastic. At the least, it might make me laugh, like, laughing at the magical day.
Krista, I have to tell you, I understand what you're saying. This is Vismaya, and for the most part, I would agree with you. But I definitely tell you, give it a shot, because it has shifted my whole day, just from starting to say, even if I didn't believe it right away, but just from saying, like, in a really energetic voice, and maybe magical is not your word. I love the word magical. Maybe it's a great day, fabulous day, whatever word works for you. But give it a shot and see how that starts. And even if you just crack up, like you said, at least you're starting the day with a laugh.
Yeah, because the energy of laughter can shift so much for you. It's amazing how much it will, just simply that will change your mood. And the other thing to do is, if you think you can't be grateful for it, then say, I invite fabulous things to show up for me today. And I am so grateful that I have this chance to invite these things to show up.
Okay.
The other thing I would offer is journal how you want your day to go. Mm-hmm. Like, that is the most fun, I think, that I don't love journaling in the morning, but when I sit down and write how I want my day to go, and I really, and I make up these beautiful, lovely days that I want to create, I get to see how the magic unfolds, and that always makes me smile, and it makes things work. And then at the end of the day, I evaluate, and a lot of times things happen the way I wanted them to happen. Yeah. So,
hey, Krista, this is Geetha here. So something that I want to share as a walk the talk coach, it's basically right now I am going through a situation where I'm not able to actually physically walk as much because I have an ankle injury, and it really I cannot walk for more than 10 minutes. And believe me, I am a marathon runner. So you can understand how difficult it is to even feel and go through the pains that I'm going through right now. But the one tool that has really helped me is getting up in the morning and looking in the mirror and giving myself that big broad smile. So that really pulls me through. And I try to
I didn't catch that. Doing what in the mirror?
looking up in the mirror and giving myself a big broad smile.
Oh,
So that smile, the moment you carry that with you all through the day, it's just so powerful that you give yourself the power. Do not transfer the power to anything else, not to another person, not to a physical thing, or even to an emotion. Keep that power with yourself. And that creates so much more of positive attitude, and it really energizes you and builds you, and try to follow the challenge that we shared today. It would be really helpful for you.
Cool. So how was that, Christy? Was that beneficial for you?
yeah. Thank you.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you for asking.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here.
Anyone else have a question?
Question, comment, what you're grateful for.
Yeah, if you want to share a gratitude with us, we get to see all your faces. How cool is that?
This is Sherry.
Hey,
Hello.
Hi,
I just want
Sherry.
to first of all say I am grateful for each one of you for taking the time and sharing this today. It just, I don't know, it just gave me some energy just listening to each one of you and your experiences. So thank you for sharing. One of the things that I have found that works best for myself is in the morning, because I'm not a morning person either. I think we're kind of all in that category. But I find if I take myself outside and do an early morning walk, I start feeling that gratitude and it just helps me with my faith, my prayers and everything. And then at night before I go to bed, I always make sure that I say out loud 3 things that I am grateful for that day. And it just helps me sleep better. So, and I have to just give a plug for Dawn and her book. I have it right here on my desk. Her gratitude journal has helped me to start journaling because I was struggling with journaling as well. So I have used her book to do my daily journal. So thank you
so much.
And each one of you, I love each one of you, and I can't wait to just share and be in your presence in a few weeks at the. Hopefully, are you coming?
I am.
I know you are, Vismaya and Dawn. Geetha, are you going to be able to make it to the unconference?
Actually, I'm traveling. I'll be in India at that time. But then, yes, I'll be in spirit with all of you because that's
Awesome.
a magical conference that I just love being there. So it's be
Well,
there.
each of you are very enlightening spirits, so thank you.
Thank you. Sherry, I'd invite you to also write down those 3 things that you say each night.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my experience, what ends up happening is that if I go back and look at them, like let's say 2 months later, 3 months later, there's a lot of things that I have written down that I completely forgot about. So the minute I read them again, I'm like, wow, and I get to relive that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some really powerful experiences that I wrote down that thank God I had them written because I would not have remembered them.
That's a good point. Thank you. I do my gratitude in the morning when I write them down, but at night I just say them. But I will start doing that.
Okay.
Cool.
Perfect.
Thank you. And Adam, did you have something?
Yeah, well, I wanted to say thank you for this event. Thank you. I've been celebrating Gratitude Day for several years now. It's a conscious thing. Gratitude is definitely conscious in my life. Unlike the rest of the people on this call, I'm a morning person.
I'm a morning person.
I'm a morning person too.
And I move myself to the beach. I get up. I'm pretty vocal in the morning when I get up. I have a morning gratitude practice. I do have a journal. And one of the things that I found is important, like Vismaya was saying, is I review my journal on a monthly basis. And that puts me back into that spot because I can get very emotional very quick and then all of a sudden shift out of it for work or whatever else I might be doing. But when you capture that written down, it's really cool. I learned gratitude when I was in a really shitty place in my life, and was in a job that I didn't want to be in, and was resentful. And when I turned my resentment into gratitude, my entire life changed.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you women for sharing this, not only to me, but throughout the world. And keep up the good work. I know how I can support Vismaya, and I have. And I get to watch people that I know wearing her shirts.
And you're in the gratitude journal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to that, because now I've been writing in these books I get from the art store. Now I'm in looking for the new one. So thank you. And thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you.
Adam,
And like you,
I just, yeah,
I
I
was
just
just
wanted
gonna
to say,
go ahead, Geetha.
Adam, I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your experience, because that's what I have been doing, and I intend to. That's my mission, to support as many people in the corporate world to understand their, when they're so resentful, to make it, turn it into the moments of gratitude that would change their lives, that would actually bring so much more happiness and love and affection, not only to themselves, but everybody around them. So thank you so much for your support and sharing it with all of us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And with that, what I usually tell people when they have a lot of resentment over the things in their past is to say, I'm grateful that I got through that. And then use the power of the word and to say, and I would like to have something different now. So that's the invitation to the universe to say, oh, cool, let's change it. And you can start that energy shifting.
That's so powerful.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We're a little after 1. We'll honor everybody's time and go ahead and cut it off right now. Well, I don't like to say the word cut. But we'll go ahead and bring this to a close now. And I just want to thank all of you who've been on here and everybody who's going to listen to it later, because I know we had a lot of people that couldn't make it at their lunch break. And we'll be sending out the link to the replay, and we'll be sending out all the links that we rattled off as we were talking that you probably didn't have time to write down. That way you can have them all in your email. And thank you so much. We're very appreciative for all of you for supporting us and being willing to have the energy of gratitude so that we can spread it out to the world.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And as a parting note, it's like we are actually starting the beginning of a gratitude, gratitude world. So it's something that those who have not experienced gratitude, for them to start off on a new journey. For those who are already in the walk of gratitude, to continue it, and realizing that it's so important, wanting to keep doing it. So as Dawn said that she doesn't want to close it, so let's work towards a beginning of bringing love and light and gratitude in our lives and be in the continuous flow of gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye,
everyone. Have a good
everybody.
day.
Have a great day.